David, right? Y'all know David. Y'all know how they saying that he killed this little girl who was his 13-year-old girlfriend. He really was just a predator. For them grades, do your homework on predator.
Weirdo.
Okay. They saying that after he stabbed her, he watched her bleed out. Probably got turned on because, you know, David loves gore. David loved the freak weird old man himself.
Weirdo.
He loves gore, so he probably getting turned on. He stabbed her, watching her, stood over her while she was bleeding out. And now the LAPD is saying that he ordered chainsaws, body bags, and everything else off Amazon. We about to go over it all. They've put out the whole paperwork. We about to go and we about to do a whole deep dive in it. So make sure you watch the whole video, homie. It's about to go down. We exposing weirdos all 2026, man.
Weirdo.
You do your homework on weirdo. Okay, so prosecutors claim David bought 2 chainsaws, not one, but those, online, and he used those chainsaws to dismember her body in an inflatable pool. So it seems like they might have actually broke the case, because like we didn't know exactly how it happened or exactly what happened. We just know that he was a weirdo, man.
Weirdo.
And he had this girl, and he was a predator towards this girl, and she ended up dead. He probably killed her. Now the prosecutors are saying they have all the details. Apparently, they got the inflatable pool, they got the chainsaws. They have to have this evidence to be able to put it in paperwork. So in old Discord messages, David revealed that he loved watching gore videos and he was addicted to them. He didn't even cringe. Okay, and we know that already. He was addicted to watching gore videos, people getting cut up, people bleeding, people's body parts getting dissected. Like, he's one of those weirdos, bro. He liked that. And if you guys know, they said that he used to send a lot of this weirdo gore stuff. He used to send it in the group chats, in the Discord chats. My only question before we move forward, my only question is, so all you David fans, y'all knew he was talking to this little girl. Y'all knew he was a weirdo. Y'all knew all this, and ain't tell nobody nothing? What's going on? So David went on Amazon and purchased a couple chainsaws after he stabbed Celeste Rivas Hernandez and stood by her while she bled out. This is according to the prosecutors in this case. According to new documents filed by prosecutors, investigators claim that the singer stabbed Celeste to death at his Hollywood Hills home on April 23rd, 2025. So she's been dead about a year. Rest in peace to this little girl. This is the most fucked up story I've ever heard in my life. Listen, man. Get that man to death. Get him out of here, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Get him out of here. A person like that was not created by God. That nigga was created by the devil himself. So get his weird, freaky gore watching. He can watch all the fucking gore with the devil in hell with gasoline draws as he burns. Give his ass to death. Get his ass up out of here, man. Once she was there, okay, let's finish. After he ordered an Uber to bring the 14-year-old all the way from her family's home in Lake Elsinore, which is like an hour or 2 hours away. It's like 70 miles away from Hollywood Hills. So the weird-ass Goofy ordered an Uber from 2 hours away. That's an expensive Uber, my guy. And brung this little girl at 14 at the time. He brung this little girl to his house. Obviously. Now, there's a lot of rumors and a lot of evidence that suggests that he was dating her. We're not even going to use words like dating. He was abusing her since she was like 12 years old, okay? So once she was there, prosecutors say that David stabbed Celeste to death. And then the next day, he ordered a shovel from Home Depot, Lord have mercy, which was delivered to his home through Postmates. So not only is he a weird freak, weird sick motherfucker, he's stupid as a motherfucker too.
Stupid. What?
So you ordered an Uber and a shovel and you did all this online? You didn't even have enough sense to get some cash, put on a mask, and go buy this shit from yourself. You ordered this shit online through Postmates, my nigga? After about a week later, on May 2nd, they alleged that he purchased 2 chainsaws from Amazon, also delivered to his home. And 4 days later, he followed up by buying a body bag, heavy-duty laundry bags, and a blue inflatable pool. They claim David made the purchases under the fake name Victoria Mendez. So did the dumb motherfucker think that because he put a fake name on the shipping address that was gonna hide the fact that they used his card and it got delivered to his house and he was there at his house? What the fuck? Because for them to say all this, we ain't even got into the paperwork, okay? But for them to say all of this, and they have to be confident, bro. There's no way. They have to be extremely confident for them to say all of this information, bro. All of it. They have to be confident. And that if they're confident, that means that they know where he was at on April 23rd, right? They know obviously the little girl wasn't missing, so they need to lock the fucking parents up too. Because if he ordered a Uber from April on April 23rd from her house, that means she wasn't missing. That means the family knew exactly where she was at. You see what I'm saying? Unless I got the facts wrong. So they have to be real confident in this information for them to even say this. You know what I'm saying? They have to know that he was at the home on this day. They have to have some type of surveillance. It's probably going to be a lot of videos, a lot of pictures that we going to come out and see, a lot of order receipts. It's going to be a lot of shit that I feel like the police have been stacking for this whole time. And I feel like this is probably why it took so long for them to make the final arrest. But let's get into the actual paperwork. Shout out to Trapmore Ross. He's gonna guide us through that paperwork. So shout out to him.
Get ready. Okay?
It's about to be very
This
sick.
is the background facts.
This is a trigger warning. It's about to be some crazy shit they about to talk about in this paperwork. So y'all be ready, man. This is sick, but I feel like it's very important as YouTubers. It's very important for us to share these stories so that people are aware of weirdos like this. Because regardless of what you think, there are a lot more weirdos just like him than you want to believe. I promise you, bro.
Basically, the state is now admitting the roadmap for the evidence that they intend to introduce at the preliminary hearing that's scheduled for May the 1st. I don't know if that's now been delayed. I'm going to find out about that. But it says the dismembered body of 14-year-old Celeste was discovered in the front trunk of defendant's Tesla Model X on September the 8th, 2025. The vehicle had been towed 3 days prior from 1405 Bluebird Avenue, which is parked approximately 400 feet from the defendant's home at 1368 Doheny Place in the Hollywood Hills. But here's where we're going to start seeing him get cooked, okay? Because new surveillance video is out, and it's been revealed publicly too, and I'll play it to you later.
Okay.
But it says surveillance video and other evidence confirm that David, the defendant, was the last person to drive the Tesla on July the 29th, 2025, before he left LA.
So surveillance videos confirms that he was the last person to drive the Tesla, but that always made perfect sense to me because you killed this girl, you got her body bag in your car. It's like, y'all always ask me to show y'all exactly how to get rich on YouTube, so I made a full-blown course. It's not complete yet, but you can order it right now. There's 5 hours of content in it right now. It'll be like 12 or 15-hour full course once it's done. It'll be done by April 1st, all right? So click the link in the description, get your course, and start learning how to really get rich on YouTube. I'm not just no one-hit wonder type guy. No, I have more than 40 channels that make me hundreds of thousands of dollars all together every single month. Like, I'm checking straight bags off of this, just sitting in my crib, recording, making videos. So if you want to learn exactly how I do it, I'm showing you how to clip farm, how to edit, how to upload, how to make thumbnails, how to develop your character, how to make shorts, how to make clips, right? I'm giving you every piece of every single type of strategy that you will ever need to get rich on YouTube. So click that link. It's not a super cheap course, but it ain't expensive. It's only $150. And if you use the code MACMULA, you could get 20% off of that $150. So go get you some money. I have so many questions, but at the same time, it's like, you're an idiot. You know, you're like, your ass is stupid. Like, what? So you killed her after you ordered her an Uber with your credit card. Then you killed her and watched her bleed out. Then you went on Amazon, of all places, you went on Amazon to order 2 chainsaws, nigga. Then the next day, you ordered a shovel from Home Depot on Postmates. Then you ordered a body bag, heavy-duty laundry bag, and an inflatable pool. You ordered all of this? Like, you're that stupid, my guy? Then you put the body in your car and left your car in front of your house. What the fuck? Like,
on a concert tour. And so it says on September...
I'm going to calm down because we got to get through the paperwork, so I'm going to try to shut the fuck up.
The 8th, 2025. Now, okay, a lot of people saying it was Neo driving that car. Turns out, according to the prosecution, it was David. It says on September the 8th, 2025, the manager of the tow yard complained of a strong smell coming from the vehicle, presence of flies coming from it. He called the LAPD. They observed the vehicle. They opened it up, and they found in the front storage compartment the black cadaver bag covered in insects, and inside the bag
cadaver bag is like a body bag. For everybody that don't know,
the severely decomposed head and torso. So we already found these details about the amputations. The plastic black garbage bag beneath the cadaver bag contained the dismembered arms and legs. However, the victim's ring and pinky fingers on the left hand had been amputated and were not found in the Tesla. So the body was identified
a sick, weird ass man cut this little girl fingers off and did what? And kept the shit as a trophy?
Records, but this is now where we're going to start seeing, based on the evidence that the LAPD has found, they're going to build up the full timeline of what they believe the relationship, the romantic relationship, confirmed.
I told y'all. I've been telling y'all for almost a year. I said he started this abuse. This I'm not even gonna call it romantic. We got to be careful with these words. He started this abuse on this underage little ass girl when she was 11. A lot of y'all thought that they met when she was 13 or 14. No. They met when she was 11, bro. I told y'all I had that information for a long time.
Allegedly, between Celeste and David. And this is very, very triggering. Okay. Pursuant to their investigation, the LAPD robbery homicide detectives determined that the victim and defendant met in January 2022 when she was 11 years old. They begun an adult relationship.
That's not a relationship. See, we got to be careful with abuse. With these words, it's not a relationship, it's abuse. You can't fucking have a relationship with an 11-year-old girl when you're 18, 19, 17, bro. You can't do that. I'm sorry. And the fact that the fact that you even got turned on, the fact that you had to go from steps, bro. The fact that you start kissing this girl. No, first you seen her and liked what you saw and got turned on by that. When she was 11, sick ass nigga. Then you start kissing her, sick. Then you start touching her, sick. Then your penis got hard enough for you to go along with this sexual abuse with this little ass girl.
Yep. While she was still a minor, in November 2023, when the victim was just...
Bro, it's past my... I promise I'm trying to get through this paperwork, and I'm going to shut the fuck up. It's past being a minor. The girl was little ass girl. A 17-year-old is a minor, technically. You know what I'm saying? But if the man 19 and the girl 17, and they going on dates or they dating, I ain't got no problem. If the man 18 and the girl 16, I ain't got no problem with that too much. You know what I'm saying? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That ain't just minor, bro. That's a little ass underdeveloped, like that's a child, bro.
13 and the defendant was 18. Detectives learned the victim had been reported missing to the Riverside County Sheriff's Department by her family, who live in Lake Elsinore, in February and April of 2024. So the Riverside County Sheriff's Department contacted the defendant. They phoned the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, called David on February the 17th, 2024. Really? So all this talk of people emailed in and said to David, you need to send this girl home, she's missing. Well, the police, not the LAPD, but the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, right, called David.
Wow.
They identified a phone number in the victim's phone records belonging to him. Wow. And during the call, the defendant claimed, so David said he'd last spoken to the victim on February the 13th or 14th, but said he was unaware that she was a minor or that she had been reported missing.
So you trying to convince me that you met the little girl at 11 years old? You met this girl at 11, my nigga. I want y'all to understand, most 11-year-old girls don't have a period. They haven't developed there's no woman body in sight for an 11-year-old girl, most times. There's no way you can hang out with an 11-year-old girl and talk to her for more than fucking 62 seconds, my nigga, and not realize this is a little ass girl. From her voice to what she talk about to, okay, 12, 13. 12, 13, usually that's when boys and little girls start getting their body and, we start getting my little pubic hairs and stuff like that. Okay, understandable. But you're not about to tell me that as an 18-year-old man, You was talking to this 13-year-old girl on a daily basis, and you didn't figure out that she was under 30. Like, get the fuck out of here. And even if that was the case, weird ass nigga, you found out they called you and told you she was a minor and reported missing on February 13th, and you was still fucking kicking it with her until you killed her last year. So I don't want to hear that shit. You knew she was underage after that phone call for sure, and you still kept getting freaky with her. You weird motherfucker.
From Riverside advised him that the LA Sheriff's Departments were coming to his home. On that day, the defendant was living at 804 North Doheny Place in West Hollywood. So the Riverside County Sheriff's Department requested LA Sheriff's Department conduct a welfare check at the defendant's home. So the LASD deputies went to David's home that night at 8:15 p.m. and informed him the victim was a 13-year-old runaway. David would claim he was unaware she was a minor and had only met the victim once in person in November 2023. However, the defendant showed deputies a yearbook photo of the victim that he had on his cell phone. Although he claimed to be unaware of where the victim was at the time, she returned home 2 days later. So was she in the property? Was she at the other property that was allegedly owned or rented by David during this time? This is crazy. Yeah. And I think, unfortunately, this is going to be one of many examples that we're going to see where the police actually made contact with David before this tragedy was allowed to happen.
That's fucked up.
The sole blame is on the person that killed this girl, allegedly David.
But the police dropped the ball.
But it sounds like there might have been some failures.
Yeah.
By the authorities.
They
Where was she? Was she in the property and he just explained it away? But it's crazy. And he even showed a yearbook photo of her on his cell phone. What is that evidence of, like, oh, she's a graduate or whatever? Like, she's graduated high school or college. That's crazy. So it says, despite being informed,
get the fuck out of here,
by law enforcement, the victim was only 13. David continued to pursue her. After the victim returned home in February 2020.
Let me say this real quick. I'm 27. I met my wife when I was 2023. I was 25. No, I was 24 going on 25. Okay. So at that time, before I met my wife, I was single, obviously. So at 24, 25 years old, if I went to the mall, I could look at a girl and be like, she a little ass girl. It's not really like it's facial feet. It's not really that hard. But one thing you're not about to say, maybe a girl can tell me she 20, but she really 17 or 18. Okay, I might believe that. Maybe a girl could tell me she 24 when she 20 or 21. I can believe that. Maybe a girl could tell me she 24 when she 30. I could believe that. You're not about to tell me that this 13-year-old girl passed for a high school or college graduate. I don't give a fuck what you're talking about.
Before her parents took her cell phone away. And David drove to Lake Elsinore and paid a junior high school student in the victim's class $1,000 to
where this little girl get $1,000 from?
Give the victim a cell phone that David purchased so they could stay in contact. That is so sick, creepy. And we're about to read something that's actually blown my mind, because I actually did see this previously. It said, throughout 2024, Celeste spent a significant amount of time with David, including summer weekends at his home in the Hollywood Hills and traveling with him to Las Vegas, London, and Texas to meet his family.
So how the fuck did he get this little girl out of the country? Maybe a private jet? And you took this little girl to meet your family? This nigga sick, bro. And the family's sick.
There's a lot to unpack here.
Family sick too, bro.
Took a minor to Las Vegas. That's crazy. I just got back from Las Vegas. Shit's crazy. That on its own is crazy. To London,
how you get
international flights crossing borders. How was she even allowed to travel internationally to London as a minor?
As a missing person, bro. Her chaperone? Ross, you were forgetting the fact that she was missing at this time.
Did the parents give permission? Can you just fly? Can you just traffic a minor overseas? We're talking Interpol. This is crazy, we're talking federal. You're taking a minor across state lines.
This is crazy.
And I don't want to hear a single word about, oh, his family didn't know anything.
Exactly.
During 2024, the victim spent time with defendant traveling to Texas to meet his family. So the family knew her. And the family knew. You're not about to tell me you brought this 13-year-old girl around like, yeah, this is my little baby. And you 18, 19 years old, and the mama, the dad, the brother, the cousin, the auntie, the grandmama, nobody asked you how old this was? Nobody was suspicious about this little ass girl coming in here? It goes on to say text exchanges between the victim and defendant contain references to
oh my God,
sex, pregnancy, and abortion, and the use of Plan B emergency contraceptive. That is messed up, man. So there are also explicit photographs
Bro, this shit finna make
documenting
me cry,
and
bro. This
I need
shit
to go blow my
sad
nose.
as hell,
Documenting and corroborating their sexual relationship. And in November 2024, defendant and the victim broke up, although they continued to communicate, and text messages suggest they also continued to have adult relations. So it continues, all right.
This shit making me so sad
So it says
now, bro.
April 2023, 2025 is the likely date of the victim's death and when all of her cellular activity ceased. The night prior, April 22nd, 2025, defendant and the victim engaged in a lengthy argument described in detail in their text messages. And again, before I go any further, I don't know how on earth this guy was even out here for 7 months. I don't know how on earth he thought he was going to get away with this. What, you've got an argument recorded in your text messages the night before and she just ceases to send any messages afterwards? This is so stupid.
Damn.
That he would think he could get away with this. But anyway, it says the messages reveal that the
victim... let me. The night prior, defendant and the victim engaged in a lengthy argument described in detail in their text. So you did an argument through text? You did an argument through text the night before you Ubered her to your house the last day. And look, it says the next day. So April 22nd was the night before. April 23rd is the likely date of the victim's death, and that's when all of her cellular activity stopped. So she wasn't making no calls, no texts. She wasn't on Instagram no more. She wasn't seen by nobody no more, like nothing. And the day before, they got into an argument. And so during that argument, I think David was like, you know, I always wanted to kill people. I love gore anyway. And she probably in that argument, like I said in a few videos ago, like she probably threatened to like to tell the police on him or whatever the case may be. And he just, this shit, the reason like I kind of shedded a tear, bro, is this shit. This shit fucked me up. Text exchange between the victim and defendant contain references to sex, pregnancy, abortion, and the use of Plan B, emergency contraceptive. Like, I cannot imagine this little ass, poor ass little girl who, and I say poor, not like broke. I mean, like, just this poor girl, bro. This poor girl got taken advantage of. Nobody protected her. His family didn't protect her. It doesn't seem like her family protected her. And she ran across this demon of a fucking person in David and got killed before her 15th birthday. She didn't have a car. She didn't even understand life yet. And you killed this little girl after abusing her for years. You killed her and ordered chainsaws and cut her body up and left her body in your car. This little innocent ass girl. You taking her to London and Vegas and back and forth to flipping like. And I just said it's just so fucked up because why you can't just go get like. It scares me, bro. It scares. I don't have kids yet, bro, but it scares me, bro. It scares me to have a daughter, bro. Because I promise to God, gang, and God forbid anything like this ever happen. I'm trying not to cry, gang. I swear to fuck on my heartbeat right now, nigga. On my heartbeat. If I was that little girl's daddy, I would fucking kill that motherfucker. I would sneak a plastic. I would go do life in prison today, right now, nigga. I would do life in prison right now. You think you gonna kill my little girl after abusing my little girl and you just gonna go to jail for it? Nigga, I would have been at that nigga front fucking doorstep with 2 snipers and a grenade. Ain't no way in the world you would have made it to no motherfucking court, nigga. And then you think I'm finna come in court and sit here and look at you all day, act like you innocent when I know you was abusing my... Man, that dad better than me, boy. This is why I say it's something wrong with it. I don't know. There's something weird about her family that we don't know about. I don't know what it is, nigga, but it's pissing me off. Nigga, I would go to jail just to get locked up in the same jail as this nigga just to get his ass up out of here, bro. Like, this is the most fucked up shit I've ever heard of in my life, bro. In my life, bro. In my life, bro. In my life,
was
bro.
Jealous over David's relationship with other women, as David had led her to believe that they had a future together. Celeste became extremely upset and threatened to disclose damaging information about her relationship with David to end his career and destroy his life. David's first studio album was due to be released April 25, 2025. Yep. He had an emerging multi-million-dollar career already in progress. He had also had multiple product endorsements which were highly profitable. He ended up losing those, all as a result of this horrible.
And Ross was right, bro. I got to give it up for Ross for all of the coverage he did on this case. He was my source, and I know through me he was y'all's source for all this information. And y'all, I want y'all to go to his page because he has a lot of videos that I don't react to. Trap More Ross on his page. He was right about a lot of shit.
Horrible decision. Approximately
even the fact that he killed her right before the album and then released his album and then like everything
April
was
the 23rd, 2025. Like. Defendant sent an Uber to transport the victim from her Lake Elsinore home to his house. They communicated before and during her Uber ride, which dropped her off at the defendant's Hollywood Hills home around 10:10 p.m. At approximately 10:30 p.m., defendant sent text messages to the victim inquiring where she was. Wow. So it's saying she was dropped off at 10:10, and then at 10:30, David thought he was being slick. He sent messages to her saying, "Where are you?"
Right.
It says the people contend this was all part of David's premeditated plan to cover up the murder, as she was already dead by this time.
And I blame the parents so much because if your little girl is a quote unquote runaway, but this man can Uber her from your house at 9-10 o'clock at night. It's not like it's 3 in the morning, everybody in the house knocked out. It seems like to me that y'all knew she was leaving. Who lets their 13-year-old girl leave the house at 9-10 o'clock at night to go 75, 80 miles away, all the way in California? She ain't going across the street to play with going to play date with her friend and no shit like that. No, she going an hour, 2 hours away. And you trying to tell me you don't know shit about it. After she's already run away, you've already reported her missing multiple times. You ain't moved. You ain't called the police on David. You ain't locked up your damn house so she can't leave. You ain't did nothing. My ass will be at the front door on guard, motherfucker. Like this here. If I'm her dad, I'm at the front door like this here till about 4 o'clock in the morning. Then I don't give a fuck. I'm locking her ass in her room. You're not about to keep running away with this grown ass man.
Knowing he had to silence the victim before she ruined his music career as she had threatened, and very soon after her arrival at his home, David stabbed Celeste to death multiple times and stood by while she bled out. At no time did he call law enforcement or 911 or take her to an emergency room to save her life. Despite knowing she was dead and that her family were trying to find her, the evidence will show that David lied and claimed that he didn't know where she was. In fact, the defendant drove to Santa Barbara County immediately after the victim died, attempting to dispose of her property and destroy evidence. So we now know this secret trip to Santa Barbara, it wasn't to go and bury the body. Right. He allegedly drove immediately after to dispose of her property and destroy evidence. At approximately 11:30 p.m. on April the 23rd, 2025, he drove away from his home as he texted and called the victim's phone asking where she was. He thought he was slick. Again, these were acts calculated and planned to set up his defense within a very short timeline after Celeste's vicious murder. The defendant drove his Tesla north on the 101 freeway to San Marcos Pass Road, SR 154, near Lake Kahuma in Santa Barbara County. He returned home early the following morning on April the 24th, 2025, before going straight for a radio interview for the release of his album that week. That's crazy. We need to find that interview. That is actually, bro. We're gonna dig up that interview for sure. I'm just taking a screenshot of this and reminding myself to go and dig into that because that's insanity. What a psychopath! How could you possibly go to a radio interview we're talking less than 12 hours after committing a vicious murder, allegedly.
Less than 24.
That's just insanity. Bro. What a dark soul. Says he sent 2 additional texts to the victim's phone that day, which obviously went unanswered because she was already dead. After April 26, 2025, David never attempted to contact her again. Crazy, man. I can't. So tellingly, defendant subsequently purchased tools to carry out his plot to dismember and dispose of the victim's body. See, how on earth could he have thought he was going to get away with this? It says on April the 24th, 2025, defendant ordered a shovel from Home Depot that was delivered to his home from Postmates. What the hell? It says on May 1st, 2025, defendant ordered and subsequently Amazon delivered 2 chainsaws to his home. No way. On May the 5th, 2025, the defendant ordered from Amazon, which delivered a body bag, heavy-duty laundry bags, and a blue inflatable pool to his home. Look, I don't think
Nobody flagged that order? I don't understand this. Listen, bro, it's a lot of shit that go on in the world, and I ain't gonna act like I understand it all. But I don't understand how somebody can order a body bag, heavy laundry bags, and a blue inflatable pool to his home, and don't nobody ask shit. I just don't understand that, bro.
I'm not in the business of giving out tips on how to commit murder, but by God, ordering on
That's what I'm
Amazon to
saying.
your own home. Okay. He said he made these purchases under a fake name, Victoria Mendez. Like that was gonna. So he's smart enough to try and order things from Amazon, a literal body bag and chainsaws to his home off Amazon in a fake name.
What the fuck?
They're coming to your home. So it says on May the 8th, 2025, defendant returned to the same area in Santa Barbara County. So it sounds like he actually did go back with the hope to bury the body, but didn't do it.
Yeah, probably.
So he returned to the very same area in Santa Barbara County, leaving his home around 11:30 p.m. He returned to the area again on May 31st, 2025. This is an isolated site off of SR 145, where the victim's identification was subsequently discovered in January 2026.
So they did find some evidence. So he's cooked.
Wait. It said an isolated site where the victim's identification was subsequently discovered. So they found Celeste's ID in Santa Barbara, and they said that he actually went to deliver. That's crazy. So it goes on to say, additionally, on July the 7th, 2025, David ordered and subsequently Amazon.
The fact that they can prove 2 things. They can prove the fact that he went to this isolated site. There's no reason for him to go over here. It's not a shopping mall. It's not a barber shop. It's no reason for him to be over here at 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night. He left his home at 11:30. I think it's like an hour drive, so it's probably like 12:30, midnight. And they know that he was there. They know that this little girl's died. They know that the little girl died and was found in his car at his house. They know that he ordered chainsaws and all this shit to his house and with his car in order to shovel through Postmates. And they know that you were in the same spot that they found this dead little girl's ID. You're cooked. So I'm just happy that this shit is coming out so that I can. He's not beating this case.
Delivered a burn cage to his home under the fake name as part of his plan to incinerate evidence. Now, you know what's crazy? Do you remember when Steve Fisher actually announced that they had found a full-blown unopened burn cage at David's property, and people were speculating, was that him planning to get rid of the body? And people saying, absolutely no way. Why would he have an unopened burn cage?
What the fuck other reason do you have for it?
It wasn't even used. I thought at the time, okay, and a lot of people, it becomes common sense at a certain point, but like,
right,
it seemed that this guy was really just ordering shit off Amazon that he thought was going to save him and help him out in this situation. Yeah. And he's unfortunately left a very blatant trail of breadcrumbs that is just going to cook him, absolutely cook him. I mean, the fact, if your defense is, well, the burn cage was never used, bro, I don't even know what to say to you. It's insane.
You're an idiot.
So, it says, moreover, defendant took horrifying measures to destroy and discard the victim's body after placing her body into the blue inflatable pool to prevent her blood from spilling onto his garage floor.
Wow.
So that's what the pool was for. He didn't want the blood on the floor.
Right.
But as you're going to find out, it wasn't such a smart idea. The defendant used a chainsaw and perhaps other tools to cut off her limbs.
He did that shit in his house?
So that speculation that she was cut up with a 3D printed hacksaw that might have left blue plastic sounded like that's not true. Sounded like what's really happened is
pool.
Small blue plastic fragments that were from the blue pool, the kiddie pool, inflatable pool, was found embedded in the victim's remains. That's where the evidence has come from. He's cut through. It's very unfortunate we're even having to talk about this, but he's cut through a person and he's caught the blue plastic,
the blue tarp in her
inflatable
body.
pool underneath it, and that's combined all of that material together in a way that the police have been able to get it. And thank God they were able to get it, because there's absolutely no way you're going to be able to explain this away, in my opinion. Okay. So it says the fragments were analyzed by the LAPD's Forensic Science Division Trace Analysis Unit, and an expert was able to make a physical fit match from the blue fragments
Wow.
to the blue inflatable pool purchased by the defendant in May 2025. In order to distance himself from Celeste, he amputated her left ring and pinky fingers because her ring finger contained a tattoo of his name and her fingers have still not been recovered. Defendant then placed her head and torso into the cadaver bag he'd purchased. He placed her limbs into a garbage bag, which he deposited into his front trunk, laying the cadaver bag on top. And for several weeks or possibly months, David left the victim's body to decompose inside his Tesla. He lied to friends, business associates, and others who noticed the strong smell of decay in and around his home and vehicle. Before leaving on his concert tour at the end of July, he parked his Tesla on the street around the corner from his home. And LAPD served a search warrant at the defendant's home.
What did he think? Let me ask. What the fuck did he think was gonna happen? Bro, what the fuck is going on? What did you think was gonna happen, bro? Please explain to me what you thought was gonna really happen. And I was gonna say I don't think he's stupid. I just think, bro, I don't believe in like too much. I think God just doesn't allow certain shit to happen for whatever reason. So I think God just doesn't like God, whatever, you know how they say, like, whatever happens in the dark comes to the light. First of all, I believe in that wholeheartedly. But second of all, I just think that God doesn't let people like this. I think God can get in the way of David thinking smart enough to get away with this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever see here? I heard about a story where it was this dude, he was wanted for murder for 40, 50 fucking years. And the police pulled him over for he was riding a bike or like walking down the street, and he did some little stupid shit. The police end up just like pulling him over, checking his ID, and he was literally like an old man at this time. It was another story where this dude was wanted for murder, and he called the police on a McDonald's because the McDonald's did something wrong with him or whatever. The police get there, run his name, and this motherfucker been wanted for murder since the 90s. 30 plus years he been wanted for murder. And he just miraculously get found one day outside of McDonald's that he called the police on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think shit like that be a coincidence, bro. I think that's all like God timing and God lining shit up. I don't think of like, oh yeah, it just so happened. Like, you feel me? And that's just how I knew the whole time that he killed this girl. I always thought that because the same thing I'm saying, like coincidences, bro. You ain't having this many. I don't believe in this many coincidences. You know what I'm saying? Maybe one coincidence, cool. Two coincidences, cool. But if you got 55,000 coincidences, bro, I don't believe you can't even make up a story with that much motherfucking coincidences. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's impossible. It's impossible.
1368 Donny Place on September the 17th, after the victim was identified by the LA County Medical Examiner on September 16th, and inside the garage, detectives discovered evidence consistent with the dismemberment of the victim's body in the inflatable pool, which contained multiple linear cuts. Several biological samples from the garage tested positive for blood and were collected within the garage area. DNA analysis determined various samples matched the victim's unique genetic profile.
That's
Celeste
good that they got enough evidence. Yeah.
How are we going to explain that? And then soon after, so they already found blood in the garage that matched the victim. On December the 9th, 2025, the medical examiner ruled the victim's death was a homicide caused by 2 penetrating injuries to the torso. So they knew that for months. Then,
okay, so they've been knew that.
On January the 17th, 2025, Celeste's US passport card was found by a Caltrans worker off of SR 154 in Santa Barbara County.
So they found her passport.
And so now we're going to get into some really messed up stuff. I don't even know if I should... I'm just going to quickly skim this and make sure I'm not going to show something that's completely horrendous. But okay, I'm not going to show you that passage, but what it basically says is that he has illegal videos on his phone.
My God.
And in those videos, she's 13. The videos are illegal. Enough said. But then beyond that, it says there's numerous text messages between David and Celeste evidencing their adult relationship, pregnancy, abortion and the use of Plan B emergency contraception. And apparently messages through March of 2025 prove the defendant continued to manipulate the victim as she messaged him, "All we do is have S and just hang out, man. I want more than that from myself." And these are messages obtained from David's iCloud data. David's cellular activity and communications derived from Celeste's iPhone and Tesla. From David's iPhone and Tesla demonstrate David's activities from April 22nd to April 24th, 2025, including the trip to Santa Barbara County in the middle of the night after the victim arrived at the Hollywood Hills home. They've also got surveillance video of the defendant driving his Tesla on July 29th, 2025 for the last time before parking the vehicle and leaving on tour at the end of July. DNA evidence from bloodstains collected in the defendant's garage, which matches Celeste. Proof of David's Amazon purchases to his residence, including 2 chainsaws, a body bag, inflatable pool, heavy-duty laundry bags, a burn cage. Proof of David's purchase and delivery of a shovel from Postmates. Uber records showing, this is so bad, David's transaction where he ordered an Uber to pick Celeste up from her home in Lake Elsinore, transport her directly to his residence the night of April 23rd. How on earth did he think that he could text her and say, "Where are you? Where are you?" You're on record ordering the Uber from her home in Lake Elsinore where she lives. It's not some accident random to your home. And she's never, you think a couple of texts, this guy is I can't even comprehend the thinking. It says, proof of David's lucrative career as a singer-songwriter prior to April 23rd, 2025. David had an album release party on the night of April the 24th, 2025, and he was embarking on an international tour late July 2025. And there's text message exchanges between David and Celeste on April 22nd and April 23rd, where Celeste threatened to expose David and destroy his career.
Sounds right. That's exactly what I said happened to before, like, this paperwork even came out. Before anything came out, I'm like, they probably got into an argument about something. It's probably because she was really tired of being fucking abused. You feel me? They got into an argument. He tried to manipulate her. She threatened to expose him, and he killed her. That's what I thought happened the whole time, bro. As soon as I learned about this shit, that's what I thought happened. I thought that he took that trip to Santa Barbara to cut her body up. I don't know I guess he went out there to try to bury the body. Maybe it didn't work. I don't know. Thank God her passport got found. Thank God the police did everything they did, bro, because if they didn't, he'd still be out here. He'd do this shit to another girl. If they don't stop him, and I highly doubt this is the only girl he was abusing. But I'm a full believer that if the police don't find this nigga, if they don't find her body at that thing, at that tow yard, if the police don't do all the shit that they did to lock his ass up, he's cooked. It's over with. If they didn't do all this stuff, bro, I'm a firm believer that he would have did this to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 girls, bro. By the time he got caught for something, like, he would have still been on tour. People would have still been screaming his name. He'd still be selling out bloody shirts and, secretly talking about this girl that he killed. It'll be another 12 or 13-year-old girl that he would have met and manipulated and abused and killed, And I feel like that shit would have just kept going on and on and on and on and on, bro. Because this is literally no different details, but this is just Jeffrey Dahmer all over again. Jeffrey Dahmer was just doing it to men because he was gay, but this is Jeffrey Dahmer, and you can really say it's worse because this was a little ass girl. This wasn't no grown man, and I know a human is a human, but and I cry because I just can't imagine, like, this shit is just so fucked up. This is a little ass girl, bro. This is a little innocent ass girl who was supposed to be free to make some dumbass mistakes that we all make when we 13 and 14. She's supposed to be free to do that, and she did not deserve to die and miss out on having kids for herself or having a real relationship. You know what I'm saying? Or getting married, or you know what I'm saying? She probably got brothers and sisters and shit. younger or older, and go to their weddings and get her first apartment and move into the college dorm room. And like, it's just so much shit she didn't get to do, bro. And she spent the last three, it seemed like the last 3 years of her life, bro, she spent that shit getting abused, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that abuse led to her getting killed, and that shit is fucked up, bro. This shit just make me sad more than anything. It's not some street dude who was killing niggas all year and he finally got his day. Like, this ain't some dude that was robbed. This ain't Ben 10 who was trying to rob somebody and end up getting shot and now they paralyzed. Ain't nobody gonna feel bad for that. Ain't nobody gonna cry over that. This is an innocent ass girl who started getting abused at 11 years old, bro. And got abused all up until a few months before she turned 15 and got killed by her abuser. Like, and like it goes to show, like, okay, it goes to show her age and her mindset, because if you just threaten him, like, you know, like a older girl wouldn't have.
That basically is that. All right. All of that evidence.
And whoever is the lawyer that's working with David, that goes through and read all of this shit and still tries to defend him, is a pure piece of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Hard not to see this guy is completely cooked in any sort of way. Okay, so look, this information has made the rounds now on a bunch of other places. I don't know if I will, you know, read an entire article basically.
Let me see if there's any, I can't even take no more of this shit right here, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think it's no more stuff other than like Reddit posts. I guess, is this the interview? Hold on, this might be the interview. I think we watched it already though.
We're trying to say figuratively. I wonder if the freezer was where she was at. Wow. Radio interview, but maybe this was the interview.
But I feel
so right this video came out. Look, this video came out a few days after, you know, this girl got killed. So he probably did this interview the day after he killed her. Not even a full day.
They said it was a radio interview, but maybe this was the interview.
But I feel like it can sometimes.
And that's him talking about.
Regardless, the video came out April 28th. So it was probably filmed a few days before then. And get that nigga the death penalty, bro. I can't. I might have to take a break from this David shit for a little while, bro. This shit is really like fucking me up.